know more and about the problem, about the history, then we can change the future. Do you take it only for Germany, or do you reckon it's a solution for entire Europe, the entire parliaments of the different countries in Europe? How do you see it?
I would say that that's something which is for all European countries important. Education is the basis, and we cannot change any opinion of right extremists or extreme left people, but we might have, the only opportunity we have is to sensitize youngsters of this phenomenon, and therefore we have to educate teachers, because sometimes teachers are also the problem, because teachers are coming sometimes from a left-wing part of the society, having their stereotypes connected to Israel and the problems in the Middle East. So this might occur, this might, how to say, enforce anti-Semitic feelings also in the classrooms. So I think that's very important, but this has to be clear, and this is something which we have to face in Germany, but I think also in other European countries, that there is a thinking that Holocaust education prevents anti-Semitism, and this is not true. These are two, that does not mean that we don't have to educate about the Holocaust and the past. It's very important, but it's not the basis for preventing anti-Semitism. It has to be clear where are the stereotypes and the patterns of anti-Semitism are. So if you educate on Holocaust and you have a multicultural class with youngsters of different backgrounds, and they have their stereotypes based on the Middle East conflict, and you teach them the Holocaust, they will still have their resentments and their stereotypes, also if they know how many Jews were murdered and what really happened during the Holocaust. So these are two. It's the same that we don't solve the problem if we do this democracy and tolerance education. It does not tackle anti-Semitism, because anti-Semitism and racism are different phenomena, and that has to be clear that they are different and where they are different. I would like to have my colleagues maybe also make a statement on that. Would you? Will you? Do you like to make a statement?
I just think it's a bit more complicated than just education. I think anti-Semitism is strongly linked to other social things like the development shows that it's always connected to questions. So I'm rather pessimistic. I think this educational thing can just raise the awareness for anti-Semitism, but it will not be able that easy to really eradicate anti-Semitism in total. I think there must be other social changes and other sites that are needed for that.
I think it's always the question of like, what is education and what do we need to teach the people, because one big problem is that it's very complex. It's the Jews, it's Israel, it's the Germans, and then the people. It's easy for people to have stereotypes or to be against something when it's that when you do not break or open it to what is the difference, what is maybe the same. So it's very important to not only talk about the bad things or the stereotypes, but to open it like it's very different kinds of what is Jewish life, what is, and not only Jewish life, but to compare different things to make the people aware how big this field is, and that it's not only tiny little steps. Or in Germany we have the problem, a lot of students are overwhelmed by it's always the Holocaust, and it's only the Holocaust they get taught about, and then it's too much for them to understand only that.